Alright. Hello, everyone. Apologies for the late start. Uh, I thought I was going to be able to make it in a bit better time, but at least I got here at the beginning, rather than the little warm-up lobby. But here we are today with one of the first few matches to kick off uh, the week 1 for the Rec League here at LOLMidwest. I am Arpi's Spies, and I will be casting for Caster Curse versus Minimum Talent Esports. Uh, Once the draft starts, I'm gonna go and get me some water, cause right here is the draft link coming out, cause I need some. And I will make sure that there aren't any issues during the draft startup before I go and get that water. Is new champ out? I don't even know what her name is. I don't think that she is on the draft tool at the moment. Alright, seems to be working. I will be right back. Alright, and I am back. Alright, looks like NTE has started off bans towards Amumu, Rammus, and Pike. Casticurse responding with bans to Nocturne, Shen, Heimerdinger. B1 pick was Karma, R1 and 2, followed with Lucian Nami. Then MTE opting for Fiddlesticks and Samira. I think this Samira third pick might be a bit too early, but, you know, always having for fun. And Samira has some fairly good aggression into Lucian Nami at the very least. Is early game marksman versus early game marksman, but Lucian is a bit more of a bully, while Samira kind of needs to wait for that all-in. Could always coin flip the very early game. Does have a Karma with her, so at least that is a bit of poke to assist her early on. And honestly, I'm not sure who would be better off in the extended trades, just because Nami's pretty darn solid. with all the changes and additions she's gotten over time. Alright, next wave of bands comes out after Caster Curse locked in Echo for their third pick. Bans starting off with Trundle from MTE, Caster Curse banning Rise and Gnar. And the final ban shall be... Set hover. Set lock. Makes me wonder who the top laner from MTE is going to be with that ban. As first pick of wave 2 goes to Nunu for Caster Curse. As MTE will be getting their last 2 picks here. A lot of magic damage on Caster Curse's end at this point. Severely magical damage skewed. He decides to respond with a Lissandra pick, possibly wanting to shut down Lucian and, you know, be quite a nuisance to Echo. Flashbacks to when Everfrost was still a thing. Locking down Echoes for roughly 5 seconds with Lissandra was always fun. And Ornn for the final pick from MTE. Actually, I will be right back again. Apologies. Alright, back again, and looks like Dr. Mundo was the final pick for Caster Curse. So that will be a considerable amount of magic damage on Caster Curse's side, which shouldn't be too difficult for Ornn to build into. But the downside for Ornn is the fact that, you know, Mundo has quite a bit of physical damage compiled with the percent current health magic damage from his cleavers, so we may perhaps see a bit of a struggle on the top side, but we'll see how things go. At the very least, Ornn should be able to bonk off Mundo's passive quite often, but at that point kind of matters that you destroy the flask, otherwise you might actually give him a bit more healing than damage outright. Kind of double-edged sword in that regard. As actual picks are going through, and we shall take a look at we shall take a look at how the team compositions are looking here. Alright, so I'll look at the top end to start. So Mundo versus Ornn. Ornn's there to help scale. Mundo is there to kind of be a general nuisance throughout. He can be a massive pain in the butt to deal with, especially later on, if his opponents don't manage to stay ahead of him, or at the very least keep him down. Uh, there is plenty of hard CC to at least stop him for a bit initially, and there isn't a lot of physical damage that Mundo will have to be speccing against, so we might see him become a bit vulnerable armor-wise to Samira for a time. I don't think that she's going to have to rush into armor penetration too quickly. Might be beneficial for her, especially if she gets ahead in the bot lane. However, Mundo can kind of shrug off damage over time variants, especially if there's not nearly enough burst to take him out before either his ultimate or the great health healing comes into play. And considering the only major damage threats than Samira are Fiddlesticks and Lissandra, and Fiddlesticks, as I said, is damage over time. Lissandra is more bursty, but the fact that Mundo can kind of shrug off a lot of her CC makes it a bit difficult. So long as Ornn can maintain the disruption, they should be able to have an okay time. But while you're all dealing with that, you still have a Nunu and Echo to deal with, which could become very problematic. Like, in a vacuum, Lissandra should mostly be fine against Nunu, but, with the other factors, can be pretty complicated. Castercurse doesn't... They have awkward ways to enter fights, at the very least. Alright, I can swap the screen here now, as we go into the final wait before the start of the match here. So, Castercurse's backline access kind of depends on Nunu kind of clearing away. Mundo is there to, for the most part, hold ground, then Echo can pop in and out if needs to. Otherwise, I think that we'll mostly be seeing front to back play from them with not much entry. While, Fiddlesticks on MTE is like very much a counter-engaging kind of thing. So we might see a bit of trouble onto Nunu and a fair bit of damage onto Mundo. Whether Echo gets caught up in it is going to kind of depend on how he's able to read the situation. Should such a situation occur, Lucian's close range marksman, so there is the possibility that he gets caught up, but other than the early game and maybe the mid game, might be a bit difficult to actually see him get caught up in the fear portion of Fiddlestick's ultimate, but time will tell how that goes. Both marksmen are very dangerous to each other should the other get ahead, and we might see an explosive early game. This is the Rec League after all. So we could hopefully anticipate a lot of blood in this fight. Very hard to predict what is to come. Hope you guys are all ready for a blast. As we go into this here first match, I'm assuming it's best of 3. I should probably post the link for this in just about done. And we are off. To the game client load screen. How am I not surprised that it's the Echo player with over 1 million mastery? That was the thing that happened. Okay, maybe they're paused or something because it's going to spectator delay again. I just force closed the client. We might miss the very start of it, so apologies for that. Alright, we are in.
Okay.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Okay.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Fiddlesticks using a camouflage skin to blend in with all the cherry blossoms. This party aesthetic. There is the 4-point guard. 2 stacked on top of each other in case someone were to walk up. Very tactical move.
Minions have spawned.
Fiddle's opting for red, Nunu opting for blue. Got Doran's in the top, and a D-ring from Echo in mid. Playing confident now, is he? Double Doran's in the bot. Both junglers are starting in the top side. Pay attention to who moves where afterward. I would assume that Fiddlesticks is going to be working towards the bot. And it looks like Nunu will be going for full clear as well. And depends on where he heads after this. I generally expect Nunu to be a heavy ganking jungler, but it's a matter of, does he think that Ornn is a suitable enough target to level 2 gank? Since I believe that Ornn should be able to stop his snowball with Q. But he could also finesse his way around it, and it doesn't look like he's going to be going to the top side. Samira taking a lot of hurt in the bottom lane thus far. Mundo eating up those grass stacks. Ooh, nice breaking of the cask. Health is mostly evened up, but Mundo does have his passive to help him offset that trade. And there comes the Nunu headed up top. He was spotted out in the Fiddlesticks ward, however, so bit of damage, then some. Is going to be going back at this point. Ornn will. Nunu as well. Kinda surprised Nunu went for a 3 camp gank at that point. But he was spotted on both the Fiddlesticks ward and the... Also, is it supposed to have Fiddlesticks show up as himself for his wards? Or is that a spectator convention? Because I'm pretty sure it didn't used to be that way. Alright, Lissandra taking a lot of hurt in the mid lane. But it doesn't appear the Echo has any potion uses left. And unfortunate, Samira just tried using her W. Oh, okay. Right, there comes the slow field. Flash, stun, Q, return. She would have died to the ignite, at the very least, held on to her flash. And does have teleport to return to lane, so. Ooh, this might not look good for the Ornn here. A double recall coming out. But I don't think they're reacting to it just yet. Alright. It is pushed. It is a cannon wave, so they should hopefully be fine. But Lucian may be able to clear the wave pretty quick. If he chooses to. Doesn't look like he will. Ornn being a bit low on his CSing, but it's fine. Ooh, cask broken. Doesn't. The Fiddlesticks will be working its way out. Hovering around. I don't think Lissandra's going to be going for a very aggressive play here, however. So, Samir is in a bit of a hurtful state at the moment, because she's not really going to be having jungler assistance until level 6. And Echo is rotate. Ooh, that's not great. Alright, Lissandra going to be taking... Okay, avoided the stun. Out comes Samira to prevent the collapse from Lucian onto her ally. Fiddlesticks flashing out onto the Nunu does not manage to prevent the Infernal Drake going to Caster Curse. Samira doing pretty well into Echo, but he goes over the wall, and directed cam being stupid. Alright. There will be no additional kills. No, nope, nope. Pettins gets caught out, flashes away, and gives himself move speed boost to get out. And let's see what happened here. Alright. Ornn sitting around half health. Mundo is level 6. Ornn misses the Q, misses the knock up. Goes for the bonk. Mundo heals quite a bit back, however, still holds on to his ult. Lands the kill. Crashes the cannon, but not the casters. Alright, Lucian does not have any more healing items at his disposal, despite being, not a level ahead anymore. Samir is definitely a much stronger position at this point. Lucian plenty far away from level 6 himself. Or Samir, I would want to press this advantage, prevent him from getting any XP, since Nami isn't there. And he has no mana. Not even enough mana for a charge. Or now he does. Yeah, he's sitting at 40. Forced to back off by the Karma. Nami's back, but he still doesn't really have much mana. Probably just enough for a Q? Yeah. Fortunate the Samir is just being a bit too respectful of the bird. Nunu spotting out Fiddlesticks. Smites the blue buff, but mostly just leashes it for the Fiddlesticks. As Fiddles walks right into Echo. He's not level 6 yet. Looks like he's going to be dying here. Lissandra trying to come over and give a bit of assistance, but definitely not getting there in time. Even if she did pour it over, not really much you can do into a Nunu and Echo like that. You just be kind of feeding yourself to him. Alright, there comes a bit more aggression from Samira. Sitting on B rank. Echo coming out. Will get the shield and stun. Lissandra not able to escape right now. Does have her ultimate available, so she should be fine. Nope. Unfortunately, did not cast it to save herself. Echo did use his ultimate to get out. Fiddlesticks trying to take 2. Did not manage to take a Void Grub. As Nunu will commandeer Fiddlesticks' Gromp. He figured that it wasn't taken yet, considering the kill that Nunu and Echo worked together for. Heal blasting off a lot. Ooh, Ornalt comes out. Does manage to break the cask on Mundo, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Whew, it was. The bonk. The bonk hurts. Teleport is on cooldown. Nunu's running his way over. Got out to safety. Ornn deciding to opt for Bramble Vest for the previous wounds. Samir getting caught out by the bubble. Dashes over. Abilities are used out of order. Does not manage to get S rank and will die, unfortunately. Karma walking right in herself. Fiddlesticks very far from the Lucian Nami. Out comes another bubble to seal the deal. Caster Curse up 8-2 with a massive gold deposit going to Lucian. Nice bubbles by Pens. Those bonks. Those bonks hurt so much. The cleaver's not doing quite so much since, you know, it is current health damage and Ornn's current health is pretty low. Lissandra coming out to chip at Echo. Echo will get out. Nunu's sitting there in the bush just waiting for someone to overextend. Mundo getting bonked, pops the ultimate. Ornn flashes out. Mundo should live here. Ooh, Fiddlesticks coming from the rear. Nothing to it. As Nunu is rounding up for yet another dragon for him. This one being Mountain Drake. Samira taking a lot of hurt. Essence Reaver is completed on the Lucian, so mana is a non-issue for him here. Karma getting dove by the Lucian. Ornn trying to do what he can to the Mundo, but not really going to have kill threat unless he manages to land a solid knockup. Does have his ultimate at the ready though, so we could possibly expect to see such a thing. But kind of hard to hit a Mundo's ghosting. Only has tier 1 boots, but yeah. Ult did come out, hit its target, but with the cask up, not really too much to follow up on reliably. Got a big fight here. Echo going hard on Lissandra, who pops her own ult, but that will leave her inside of Nunu's zone. Kill goes to Pens and Nunu. Fiddlesticks tries to salvage something from it, almost gets himself killed as he hops out. CLT might be hopping in, so we'll open up. In case he does. Alright. Match looking pretty well in the favor of CLT thus far. Mundo, 14-minute Heart Steal. No stacks yet, but the fact that he has it means that he is in for a very comfortable ride to the top. Lucian having such a considerable gold lead over Samira is going to do some pain to her. As Ornn gets dove by the Echo and Mundo together. Armor, ooh, that's a lot of armor that he's stacking right now. You're definitely going to need some magic resistance in there. You're not going to be confronting Lucian at this rate. I feel like MTE might need to force some fights of their own should they manage to catch Lucian out of position here. That's probably their only entryway into this fight. Echo's a bit too slippery to deal with at this point, but if they can manage to get enough gold into Samira's pockets, they should be able to do just fine. But it will be difficult. Ornn ult comes out, Lucian avoids it. Knockup missed. Who comes out? It's just a Spire. Samira might be going in here. Lucian is quite low. B rank, no S, unfortunately. But Karma does send out an empowered Q for the kill onto Pens as Nami. As Mundo sits there trying to soak up a bunch of damage. Ult is on cooldown now. Fiddlesticks over the wall does land the fear onto Mundo, but he should be able to get out just fine. Nunu working over just to give a bit of threat protection. As the bot lane tower will be going to cast a curse. That is now 4 towers destroyed for red. Not 1 for blue. Only 3 Void Grubs went to Caster Curse on the bright side. Will be taken care of, and the next dragon up in a minute. While Atacon will be up in roughly 3.5. Always unfortunate when you get your W slapped on a cooldown as Samira. Darn camera glitches. Alright. Next dragon spawned. It is a Windrake. We have 2 people defending against the Mundo top. Just farming up his stacks. There comes the Ornhorn. Mundo ultimate is up. Gray health heal for quite a bit, and camera keeps moving back annoyingly. We have 3 on the top side now as Windrake went to Caster Curse. And top side inner turret is nearly dead. We see 3 moving into mid lane now. Resources are being taken now. As Echo's just chilling down on bot side. Pushing up, waiting to get to the base turrets. It's a bit hard to actually make a move on anything going on at this point by MTE, but you do see Nunu on the top side now. So it's those moments. Ooh, Echo possibly getting pulled out of position. Lands a double stun. Ultimate primed. Will land it on 2 enemies. No Q follow-up, however, for a kill. Everyone is quite low, however, on MTE's side, thanks to the Lucian ult. No deaths, however, other than the Ornn on the top side. Which that top tower is experiencing some heavy threat. Mid lane turret below half health. Lucian almost killing the bot side. Base tower as well. As Atacon will now be up in less than 1 minute. We are in a 13 kill lead with a nearly 14k gold lead at that. On the bright side, Lissandra did not lose half of her health to a Lucian passive proc right there. That is one of those victories that you have to take. Because it means that he can't vaporize people yet. Echo trying to go for a kill, but Blast Cone prevents it. Flashes over the wall. Does finish off Fiddlesticks. Charging his flash and ignite and ultimate for it. Does mean that it is now significantly harder to contest for Atacon on NTE. Not that it wasn't hard enough already. As Lucian is solo pushing in here. At least the Karma empowered Q's hurt. Mundo's got a lot of health. Unfortunately, Samira doesn't really have much damage on her own. Yeah. This is basically raid boss form at this point of the game. Unfortunately, there wasn't too many victories throughout the match from MTE's end. At the moment, they're just kind of struggling. Tower took more than half of its health. We'll be going down here before he turns to start fighting back. Samir running out. Mundo ultimate run out at this point, and it looks like he will die. Fiddlesticks coming in for the kill, does pick up a nearly 300 gold bounty. Don't think that'll be quite enough. You need about 2 extra items, and still needs 3 more camps to finish off his weapon and his jungle item. So that's a fair amount of damage that he's missing on that front alone. Lucian gonna be pressuring. Nunu's headed up. There is plenty of forces to supplement, but not really much of minion waves. Next dragon, up in 30 seconds. That will be Quinsoul. Should Caster Curse manage to secure it. Fiddlesticks and everyone else on his team, a bit afraid to actually move out of the base. Here he comes. Walking straight into the Nunu, does manage to get out alive thus far. Thankfully for him, the charge was not nearly long enough to clinch that one shot. But it did hurt quite a bit nonetheless. That will be a confirmation of Windrake's death. And Cloud Soul marking the 6-minute timer to Elder Drake as Fiddlesticks gets deleted by Echo. It was Magi stacking. Alright. Now, this is the unfortunate time for Lissandra, as she does lose half of her health to Lucian now. There goes Samira, Karma to follow, Lissandra, and all that is left to guard their domain is Ornn, with Fiddlesticks coming right up off spawn. Ultimate primed and ready, but with only a Leandri's Torment, can't expect all that much. Echo Ult came out, still missing quite a bit of health because Fountain Shot hit him after the recovery. Fiddlesticks ults out, as he gets vaporized to join his team in the Nether Realm. Samir takes the exhaust and the D. Death. The death. She took the death. As victory goes to Caster Curse. Alright. Congrats, CC, on your first victory. Bring it to 0-2, and we'll see if the sides remain the same for game 2. Draft 2 should be starting momentarily, I believe. And yep, it does appear to be same sides. Alright, bans come out. First set, Amumu, Nocturne. Might see a repeat of last instance. There's the Pike hover. Hens is an avid user of Pike. And if I recall, he does use Amumu as well in supports. The Shen insta-lock. It's funny seeing Nocturne and Shen banned together because Nocturne kind of counters Shen because of ult. Seems to be glitched. Blue side third ban will be Echo. I'll put that in the chat. Ah, crap. I didn't put it over there. I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Alright, seems that we'll be redoing the draft anyways. Because it bugged out. Oh, it's Fearless. Alright, I wasn't aware that Rec League was doing Fearless. So, is that both teams can't pick the same champions or just, the winner? I would assume both teams. So if it is both teams, then that means, alright. They'll be repicking game 1 drafts real quick just to clear it out of the way, I think. Because of the bug, or well, it wasn't a bug, but they weren't aware of it. Okay. Right, so yeah. Alright, we got some cheers for minimum talent. Let's go. Alright, got the Shen, Nocturne, Heimerdinger bands in yet again. With the Amumu, Zaya, and Pike to counteract. There's the Rammus first pick. If I recall, the freak adjustments are in, so he is no longer a targeted physical damage counter, but instead a generic tank option with repulsive damage. And his ultimate is easier to cause aftershocks with, because it always applies the aftershocks now, if I recall. Look at that. Caster Curse taking out 2 global ultimates. Well, 1 third global ultimate and a global ultimate. Just to pick a half global ultimate. And a former half global, or former third global ultimate. Or 5th global ultimate. I don't know. MTE responding with a Smolder. A lot of armor shredding already on Caster Curse, though. And Swain will be their third pick. Whether that is a Swain mid or support, we shall see. Or heck, it could even be a Smolder in the top or mid. So maybe they're going out with the flex picks. Caster Curse's final pick will go towards none. That was meant to be Okay. Okay. R3 Galio. Red band 4 is Rise. Oh no. Band Trundle. Yo, this is such a flawless draft, man. Truly unprecedented. Alright, there's the Akali. For Caster Curse final ban. MTE with Ivern. It is most certainly a draft of all time. Legends are made here. Caster Curse first pick. In second wave, going to Set. Responded to with a Scion. As B5 takes their time to decide while locking in Orianna. So that looks like it will be Orianna mid, Swain support. A lot of magic damage on NT's side going up against Galio. There is Uh, or it's a good hybrid actually. Not straightforward magic. Mostly just Oriana and Swain. And for whatever reason, it bugs me that Smolder is physical damage instead of magical damage when the way that he fights screams magical damage. Alright, as Caster Curse final lock goes to Azir. As the actual draft goes into play at this point, just gonna swap the scene right now so that the janked up draft doesn't go in misleading points anymore. Alright, so this will be, or this is match point for Caster Curse. It is currently 0-1 in favor of them. We shall see whether MTE recoups their losses and puts us into a third match. But we shall see. Just gonna take a brief pause here while the locks get put in. Alright. I just had to take a brief break to wind down. Alright, so the match will be starting up here. Briefly. Oh, is that a Galio support? With a Pantheon in the jungle. Nice. You know, I wasn't thinking about that during the draft. I was just like, hey, look, it's an Azir, not, oh, Azir and Galio. So who's gonna go mid? Well, I guess Set also could have technically been a support, but I think that would be a bit doubtful to send a Galio into a Scion. Maybe I'll just preemptively close the client this time. We'll see. There is Pens wielding his Birdio skin. And it did not break this time. Huzzah!
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
This is Fearless Draft, yes. So basically,
30 seconds until minions spawn.
if either side uses a champion, that champion is not accessible in the match afterwards. Doesn't matter if the side loses, anything they pick is still not usable. And I assume that it is a best of 3. So, and this is currently 0-1 in favor of CC.
Minions have spawned.
Master Curse. Good, good. Yes, Fearless Draft is fun because the more matches there are, the more champions with low play rates that you will see. It is the optimal way to play competitive. It does mean, though, that people with small champion repertoires will be shown to struggle at times. Set aiming for that early level 2. Still needs one more minion for it. But he is punching away quite a bit at Ornn. Pens unfortunately missing up the knock up. Does get the passive, but that doesn't really amount to much. Set coming in for the level 2 move. Oh wait, I said he needed one more. No, that's mid lane. Or well, also that was the first wave. I'm dumb. Corki being a bit aggressive when Galio's backing off to set the protective ward. A thing that you very commonly see in ranked. Kind of the easiest time to go ham on the enemy AD carry when that stuff happens. Scion losing a lot of minions to the tower, unfortunately. Set getting a lot of damage. Honestly, very surprised that he managed to get the headbang there. It didn't seem as if that minion that he pulled was actually behind him. Oriana's got 2 points into her queue at the moment. Some movements towards the bot side. Pantheon in the scuttle. We'll see whether or not he rotates to try and go double. Rammus's clear appears to be going a bit slow. Bit of a trade. Oriana falling quite low on mana after that. And Nazir having access to biscuits does give him a very favorable position on his health. Set coming out to get a lot of damage dealt to Sion. Does die. Rammus comes in to try and support, but nothing will come of it. Sion opts to take the CS, what he can at least. His teleport is on cooldown, so unfortunately it will be some time before he comes back. Does have some gold. He could get boots or cloth armor. Oh, opted not to buy anything other than the Rejuve pendant. Pen's deciding to stay inside the bush. Just waiting for Corki to come back with some items. Might try and go aggressive or just stall the recall of the opponent. You know, just be a bit of a nuisance. He was spotted. And their back will be cancelled. Those new teleport times. They feel like they're so much slower than they are. And they feel like they're faster than, I mean. Rammus heading bot for a gank. Does not manage to land onto the Corki. Opts to go for Galio instead, but takes an insane amount of damage from that early game Corki. Thanks to his Gatling for the most part. That thing shreds quite a bit. Flash from Smolder gets him to a bit of a safer position. Takes a bit of a greedy recall, and Galio is not one to let those things slide quite so easily. Always punish greedy recalls. Well, sometimes. Sometimes getting like a cannon or the wave into a healthy position is a bit more valuable. Set just throwing out a W back at it. Unfortunate cannon miss. Pantheon's going for a solo kill on the dragon. Is not spotted by a ward, at least not yet. Health going down quite a bit. Oh! Kill going to Swain. Unfortunately, he doesn't manage to steal the dragon. But a kill is a kill. And at this point, Swain could use... Azir going in, does have his ultimate. Not close enough for him to pull Oriana away from her tower. Rip walls. As Rammus coming in from the side, he's only level 5 at the moment, so his engage is a bit limited here. Oriana trying to play a bit aggressively, but she has all 4 points in the queue at the moment. Her damage is not going to be quite high. Her command shockwave misses its mark. Azir dropping quite a bit, just showing how much damage capability Rammus has at the very least. But Oriana will be struggling with the lack of damage output that she'll be getting from Max. Also opting for scaling runes. Or, no, early game rune. Pantheon deciding to go for the Void Grubs and should be able to get them pretty safely. As Swain nearly dying in the bot side. Does get away with his life, but loses flash in exchange. Is a bit of a dangerous position. Is very low. Almost. Would have been a dive if Corki had a bit more mana available to him. Pantheon will be spotted out. Does have his ultimate and flash up at the moment. Secures the third Void Grub and decides it's okay to die. Kill going to Orianna. Does have her spellbook at this point. Sion's been struggling up top against the set. Unfortunate for him. Pull out of his Q. Does manage to at least... Or no, he... Can't tell if he got it off, but... Ult from Pantheon coming out. Azir, not long after. No flash available from Orianna at the moment. Shockwave came out. Will be knocking Azir a bit low, but it won't be enough. Just shy of death. Amumu working his way up top. Ult's behind set. Puts him into a favorable position to ult and flash out himself. As Galio going in for some very deep vision for his team. Should be able to tell when Rammus is on the bottom side of the map, thanks to it. And give, you know, clues for him to be top side, unless he goes for in-lane ganks, of course. Set going aggressively into Sion yet again. Stacks on stacks. Ooh, Corki going in. Will take a lot of hurt. Doesn't have any maneuverability at the moment. Kind of surprised to see Swain not ulting there. Barrier is off cooldown, so... And he does have mana for, you know, another rocket or two. But, you know, sometimes you gotta risk those. You are a Swain. A shotgun could do quite well for you. Mid lane CSing, favoring Azir. The kills are much more even this time around in the last game. Gold, not quite so much. Corki has been able to shove Smolder off a lot of CS. Tens has been a menace. The wave could be frozen here if desired, but they will be opting for some tower gold instead. As Caster Curse is aware of just where Rammus is sitting. Could have recalled at this point. Theoretically, very doubtful. Pens will be seen. Taunt comes out from Rammus. As there are many movements surrounding the bottom side of the map at the moment. Ultimates at the ready for everyone in the position. We'll have to see what happened there. Alright. Orianna sitting just over 200 health. Azir sitting on roughly 300 health. Has ultimate available. Shuffles in. Spawns the soldier. Gets the final hit. Flashes away. Taunt by the Rammus. Pantheon ult comes out. Will maybe? Yep, successfully preserved Azir's life. Sion doing what he can to try and prevent Set from killing the tower. Set has Stride Breaker available to him. We'll try and get out. Ram is sitting on the other side of the wall there. No ultimate, so he can't really jump it, unfortunately. As he does manage to kite out Sion passive. That is a level 7 Rammus. Oh. Yeah, Rammus doesn't have bombies. Explains his low clear time. Very unfortunate. Nice taunt, but tower damage will be blocked. Set does have ultimate available as well, so it is dangerous for Rammus to be moving on that, even if he is low. Pretty quiet map.
Plating will soon fall.
Gold lead expanded to 5,000 gold. MTE trying to do what they can to stem bleeding, but there is just a bit too much getting through at this point. Almost double CS in Corky's side. Galio's been putting up a very strong front. Not a lot of fights along the bottom side of the map, so, you know, there's not much recovery from that front, plus the Locket Rush from Galio does make it very dangerous for Swain to try anything aggressive. Corky coming in for a 1v2. Dies, or Swain dies, as he casts ultimate to the Corky, putting it on cooldown. Galio not even needing to actually step by at that point. That was a very comfy 1v2. Pantheon will be spotted out. Going aggressive onto the Orianna, who's quite low. Will have set ultimate pile driven onto her. As Sion goes down not long afterwards, gonna hit what he can, but will be dead here in a sec. Pantheon not permitting Rammus to take a recall there. As bot lane outer turret is dead, mid lane outer turret should be going dead here in a bit. Galio very sad. Alright. MTE trying to do something about the Pantheon standing there menacingly. He gets out with his life, knocks 2 very low. Ooh, that is a very dead Swain. Extra tower shot going on to Pantheon, not expecting it from hugging the wall. Yet another tower shot taking out the set. And there's the Corky. Triple kill going to the Orianna. Who's sitting on 4 kills at the moment, will be the shining grace for her team's damage output. Just needs to spend that gold. 1,800 won't be enough to finish her second item, but will get her very close. Actually, nah, went for Sork Boots and a component. As it looked like Pens was trying to solo Herald, but didn't work out very well. Really funny how far Rift Herald walks for that. Ooh, the roses are spawning. That is free stats right there. Sion a bit afraid to stay in the lane at the moment. Smolder also a bit afraid of that. Oh, I guess this wave is right there. And not really any forward vision to give him any feeling of safety. Doing what he can. Set continue to push up. Sion might be caught out here. No, it's fine. Corky missile was just shy, so we couldn't really see how much damage would be coming out, but I would expect a fair chunk. Set trying to go for a bit of tower damage. Man, Shockwave misses its mark as he gets out perfectly fine. As Azir pushes the bot wave inner turret a bit more, Swain W comes out, misses. As Caster Curse will be working on Rift Herald, about to be down. We will see where that goes to crack. side lanes will give more gold, but mid lane does give very simple entry into the 2 pressuring the top or bottom side of the map. This will be the 3rd dragon for Caster Curse. Primed up for a steal, and it will be successfully stealed by MTE. As Pantheon deciding to ult onto the pit, his opponents were cleanly out before having landed, however. Sion does have Heartsteel at the moment, but not very many stacks. And you'd probably want Titanic Hydra first at this point, to be able to wave clear fast enough and compete with the damage that's coming into you. Bottom inner turret dead from blue side. As Set takes out Sion with his W sweet spot. Rammus goes in to try and hit someone. Does land onto the Azir. Swain tries to hook the Corki, but he will die. The compounded damage of Corki and Azir's tower. Azir flashes in. Double kill, 1 from the tower, 1 from that flash. All inner turrets currently dead on MTE's end. Next up, the base towers. We do have teleports available on both Azir and Set at this point. Set deciding to finish off taking that base tower, as Azir's trying to do what he can to run from Rammus here. Ult comes out. It's just dancing around the soldiers. We'll get knocked up. Swain not managing to secure that kill there. Not sure if it's better or for worse, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, that bleed that MTE was trying to cauterize, unfortunately, opened up and brought a waterfall of pains. Should have said waterfall of pens. That would have been a pun. Maybe, like, if you say the E in pens with an accent, it can kind of sound like pain. Alright. Sion looks like he's not in for a great spot, decides to ult out to get to that safe point. As they did have, yeah, or no, they didn't actually have vision there, I think. Atacon is up, will be safely secured as Set is applying cross-map pressure. Is going hard aggressive onto Orianna. 2 shots taking her half health. All comes out. Will land an extra 2 to land the kill. 1 hit, 2 hit. There comes Sion. Or not Sion, Swain ult. Flash, neck breaker for the triple kill. Sion coming over, but I think that Set once more anyways. And a melee target that isn't Rammus is probably all the better for him. Galli coming out is willing to tank some tower shots, just not too many. As Set is aiming to take out that second base tower, as Corki taking out the inhibitor. Turning onto the inhibitor themselves, as blue team is spawned. Command Shockwave comes out, lands 2. Azir will go down. Pens possibly after. Not quite. Corki coming in. Takes out Reaper. Might take out Rammus here before the taunt goes off. Pens provide a bit of magic resistance shield. As the 2 will still go down to the Orianna and Smolder respectively. Or not. I forget who got the kill first. But, whatever. Orianna does have 2 finished items at this point. Laning or the CS for the mid laners is mostly even here. Azir looks to be building towards a Rylai's next, while Orianna is opting for more damage, which when behind is definitely something that is appreciable. Not very much tankiness on CC's end, so any good play from Orianna should be able to pay back quite a bit, so long as, you know, Set shield or Pantheon shield don't have things to go about. As Set is right over here, taking out 3 opponents. Just a kill on Swain thus far. Ram is trying to go in aggressively, spots Galio, decides to back off, as that will be the fourth dragon kill going to cast a curse. Sion dead, Orianna right after. That is the damage gone from MTE. All that's left is a little bitty dragon, but not one to give them soul. Swain is back up already, only to die another day. As that appears to be game 2 for Cast a Curse, sealing the 2-0 victory. The GGs come out. As that brings us to the close for this week 1 battle between Cast a Curse and Minimum Talent Esports. And with that, I will be signing off for the night. I guess a bit of post-match evaluation. I do understand that MTE all seem to be fairly new and learning players to the game. Going up against a team like Cast a Curse, who has been, you know, fairly regular participants within the LOLMidwest scene, is definitely a very heavy step up for them into this. Can applaud some attempts they've made. Definitely a ways to improve all around, and I hope that they manage to find some good avenue and learning, and learn plenty from their peers throughout their time here. Hope that everyone may have a fantastic day. And with that, I will be signing off. Good night. Have fun. Bye. Was the wrong one, my bad.